We are Baltimore. We are MC.
Royals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Tonight from Kauffman Stadium, it's Game 2 of this 3-game series between the Minnesota Twins and the Kansas City Royals. Hi, everybody. Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler with you, and tonight we're going to talk about starting pitching. Tom Malone, Minnesota starter, has pitched very well in his first 2 starts. Jason Vargas, last time out, shortest outing since 2011, and we don't expect that to continue.
And Ned does not want to see that tonight. Keep the train rolling, try to get the series as soon as you can. But when you're a finesse pitcher like Vargas, you got to be able to back those righties off and pitch inside effectively, not too much over the middle. He'll get pounded. He knows that. Change-ups away.
And both of those guys can't pitch over the middle. The AT Uverse rewatch shows the mistakes Lorenzo Cain got Malone early.
That's the same problem that Vargas had. So we have a matchup of 2 lefties that are not overpowering, that have to rely on command. So as a hitter, you got to be up there towing up and getting ready for that cookie. Now, Vargas, same thing. This big right-hander going to have to really bust him in and soft change-ups away to keep him from doing that. Vargas knows he's a veteran. Expect the good Vargas tonight.
Jason Vargas knows he has a great defense. The Royals always bring the passion and the lever. They can flat pick it. It's the Royals and the Twins coming your way next.
Brett Laurie came back last night. Same old Kelvin Herrera, as he has yet to allow a run this year, and handled the 8th perfectly. Had 1 walk, but that was it for the flame-throwing righty. Joel Goldberg alongside of Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery back here at Kauffman Stadium. And the Royals heard from the league today after all of that happening from the weekend. and the verdict was a fine, just a fine for Yordano Ventura, and a 5-game suspension for Kelvin Herrera. Let's look back at what happened, and of course it all started with the dirty slide from Brett Lawrie. Ventura ejected, but no suspension.
No suspension, Joel, and I was very surprised that he did not get a suspension because of the fact this got so much national attention. I felt like maybe the league would make a point to say, hey, this is not going to go on here in Kansas City anymore.
Now, Kelvin Herrera did not hit Brett Lawrie, but 100 miles an hour, the league saying he's suspended for throwing near the head. A lot of folks saying, oh, wait a minute, that was at the letters. But there are some baseball no-nos, Monty, and one of them would be throwing behind a guy and throwing that high. Explain that a little bit, because I know a lot of folks are saying, well, wait a minute, he didn't even hit him.
Right, you don't want to become a headhunter. You don't want to be known as one of those players in the league or a teammate as a headhunter. You want to look out for your guys. You want to do what's right by the etiquette in baseball, but you have to stay away from that area. And it doesn't just have to be the head. That area saying the letters and up, that's what they're going to look at.
Ned Yost said he thought that the punishments were fair, and they maybe even expected more. Kelvin Herrera is appealing, so he can pitch tonight. Jason Vargas, though, will throw the first pitch, and that is coming up next from Kauffman Stadium.
High-speed internet. The U-verse revolves around the call 1-800-PIC-ATT. By your Kansas City Chevy dealers. Visit your Chevy dealer today for great prices on all our new 2015 vehicles. And by the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri. So play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. It's a beautiful evening at the K for the Royals and Twins, and there is Torrey Hunter. He was entertaining the fans who are just in front of that Twins on-deck circle. He'll bat second, Joe Mauer third. Brian Dozier has struck out in 11 straight games, and Vargas, it was the very first matchup in the history of baseball, Vargas versus Vargas, and Kenny Vargas took Jason deep.
Well, in order for Jason Vargas to be able to not let that happen, he's got to really be able to stay inside with a fastball, bust him in, and then change ups away. Vargas has a fastball, curveball, changeup. He's got 3 nice pitches, and he works on keeping them off balance. Locating is big key for him. Now, in 2 starts, that 6 ERA, it's rather high. It's like a batting average that's low. Early in the season, batting averages can come up and the ERA can go down. But Vargas needs to get back on that slab and at least eat up 6 to 7 innings if possible.
That was your Kia in the driver's seat, and here is Jason Vargas facing Danny Santana, who ended an 0 for 12 last night with a hit. He led all rookies last year, batting .319, but off to a slow start, as you can tell. .200 batting average.
Yeah, they got to get their leadoff guys on.
And Vargas very quickly ahead, 0-2.
Santana a little bit more successful right-handed than left-handed this year. He's hitting .250 from the right side. He's got a little more pop.
Jason comes inside with that 88-mile-an-hour fastball. Last Thursday was his shortest start since 2011. We told you about that in the open. Gave up 10 hits and 5 runs in only 3 innings. And there is the great off-speed pitch. How about our Ford around the horn, the best defense in the American League?
Without a doubt. That defense, they're again Major League best in 19 runs saved, that outfield. Unbelievable. For Lorenzo Cain, he's got 6 defensive runs all by himself. Watched him in batting practice, taking some nice long strides, running down some balls in BP, and believe me, he gets his work done during batting practice, taking balls live. It's one of the reasons why he's so good. He works at it.
Strike in there. Last 2 years he was with Detroit. Before that, the Angels. But of course, his 10 best seasons with these Minnesota Twins, where he made his major league debut in '97, where his skipper Paul Molitor played with him a little bit that year. Another great off-speed pitch thrown by Vargas.
When Vargas is going, his tempo is going. I mean, he speeds it up. He doesn't give the hitters much time to think, and he really mixes them. And that pitch there is a good spot for him. He threw one to Santana in there. He's going to have to pitch inside effectively.
He went curve, came back with the fastball in, much like he set up Santana before striking him out. And now he gets Torrey Hunter on the changeup.
See, so that's what that fastball inside does. That's why he wants to do that. Set up that changeup away. This is the Vargas that we're used to. Hopefully he can keep it working, especially coming after the inside fastball.
Well, against the Minnesota Twins, this is what they've done against the Royals left-hander. The most success by Joe Mauer, who has had 30 at-bats, but Torrey Hunter not bad, 15 for 45 coming into this one. Mauer sends one high and deep right center field. Paulo Orlando at the track is there to pull it down, and Jason Vargas with a very comfortable first inning here at the K. with a mild sprain to his left knee, and he is the leadoff man in our State Farm lineup. Moustakas going second. Lorenzo Cain, who got last night off, first game off this year, will be back in the lineup hitting third.
Nice to see those high numbers. As a matter of fact, this early in the season, that offense leads all of Major League Baseball with batting average, on base percentage, and runs. They're getting it done.
He will face Tommy Malone, who is 2-0 this year, was outstanding in his first start. 7 2/3 innings of shutout baseball in a victory of the Chicago White Sox, and then was able to beat the Royals in that last start, being opposed by Jason Vargas last Thursday. To right field, Hunter is there, and he makes the catch for out number 1. The Twins defensively, they have made the second most errors in the American League with 11, and they did not have a good defensive night last night.
No, and in order for them to keep their pitching in the game, they've got to be a little bit more responsible on the routine plays. At least make those. The one's right at you.
Torrey Hunter's won a ton of Gold Gloves in center and also in right field, but it was the Arcia error that opened the gates for the Royals when they took the lead. He had an easy fly ball that he was moving towards left center, just clanked it.
I got a chance to talk with Paul Molitor, the Minnesota Twins manager, today about, what's his style of management like? Do you address that in game when a guy makes a mistake like that, or do you let it go to the next day, or even address that at nighttime after the game? And he said that it just depends on the player, depends on the situation. He hasn't really established that yet, as he's still in his first couple of weeks.
Moustakas continues his great work going to the opposite field as he drops a base hit to left field.
Yep, Dale Swain was telling me before the game, I said, Dale, really, Moose, why is he different this year? And he just said that he's trying to be a good hitter. In his mind, he's a better hitter, and he's made him better because he's in the second spot in the order. And when you're in that second spot, you have to step up and be an all-around type of hitter. So the combination of maturity and realizing and telling himself that he's a good hitter, and he's got the confidence, it's working.
That was a dramatic reverse last year, where he was mainly a pull hitter and was hitting under 200 and was sent down to the minor leagues. Now Lorenzo Cain goes after the first pitch, pops it up shallow right, and Hunter is there for the catch and then wings it to Mauer, but Moustakas read it well and got back to the bag.
Torrey Hunter got a little bit of a late read on that, but the wind again is pushing out to right field, so that helped him some, but still runs well. He's able to get to it.
And the wind roaring out about 10 to 15 miles an hour. It was about that way last night until the 5th inning, and then all of a sudden the wind died. Here is Eric Hosmer. Oz at .320 this year, looking for his second home run, but he's driven in 9 and really having a fine homestand against Oakland and now Minnesota. He is 6 for 11. Went 0 for 1 last night, but had 2 walks and a sacrifice bunt.
Yeah, those are things that you're not expecting out of your number 4 hitter. But Swain was really impressed with the walks, especially the 3-2 counts. They had 4 3-2 walks in last night's game. They would have had 5, but Gordon made it out. So the fact that they are being selective and being patient up there is making them get better pitches to hit.
2-1, and last year the Royals did not have the kind of success most teams usually have on a 3-2 count. They were too aggressive on 3-2 pitches.
Yes, they were thinking fastballs coming every time, and it was that way back in the day. 3-2, pitchers used to challenge it, say, all right, here it comes. Nowadays, 50% of all 3-2 counts are off speed, and they're not strikes. Half. So the fact that he's being more selective is really helping his offensive output.
And if he can continue this way this season, he'll hit for a high average, and he'll have a great on-base percentage to get on for that lower part of the order. For Gordon, Salvador Perez, Morales, he'll score a lot of runs.
Hosmer, the opposite field. Back goes Arcia, still going back at the wall to pull it down. Well, here at the K, it's Bark at the Park night. And there were dogs entertaining fans before the game, and now they're sitting with their masters in the stands, having a blast watching baseball. Hot dogs. You bet. Bark at the Park night. Fans had to pre-register to get tickets and allow their dogs to come with them tonight, so they didn't have to get a dog sitter. I love that.
Hey.
And then Dozier pulls it foul. He's down 0-2.
Ah, it's a great night. Are you kidding me? That dog is loving Royals baseball.
I want to see the dogs when a Royal goes deep and the fans stand and cheer and it gets loud. Vargas goes low with the off-speed pitch, and it's 1-2 strikes. Brian Dozier only hitting 188 last year, hit 242, strikes out a lot. He has struck out in 11 straight games. Well, he was using that pitch against right-handers in the first inning, the fastball in, to set up the off-speed. Let's see if he does it again.
So far, that fastball is perfect, and on every hitter he's faced. It's not good to hit, but some guys will swing at it later. Sets up that changeup. That's the routine.
That was it again, and Escobar, with his first chance of the second inning, throws him out. Our University of Kansas Hospital injury report is on Jonathan Lucroy, the Brewers catcher, on the 15-day disabled list. Look what he did last year with a .301 batting average, 13 home runs, and a fine defensive catcher. Broken toe.
They are starting the season 2-11.
And I talked with head athletic trainer Nick Kenny before the ball game about Greg Holland and his progress, and he said he's not throwing. They shut him down for 3 days. They're getting the inflammation under control. It was a grade 1 injury, and they're going to reevaluate it after 7 days, and Nick told me the 7th day would be Saturday, and they're hoping that if everything goes well, that he could start throwing again.
Tell the fans what grade 1 is.
Grade 1 is the lowest grade. That means it's not as severe as grade 2.
Thank you. Yeah, last pitch there. That's the inside pitch. He's got to be able to stay in. There's Holland. Wonder how he likes sitting in that dugout with the fellas.
The 2-1, and Vargas takes it outside a 3-1 count. Vargas has had the count his way on just about everybody, but this was the guy who muscled up and hit a laser line drive off the facade of the upper deck at Target Field last week. And he walks him. 4th walk this year for the 24-year-old kid out of Puerto Rico.
Vargas a little careful with Vargas. Dave Island said before the game, you know the deal, Hud. He's got to be able to bust him in soft away, get back out there and keep us in the game and eat up some innings. He's got that ability. That's what he expects out of him.
Plouffe pops it up right side, but that will get out of play. Again, the wind crossing from left to right. Plouffe had 2 hits last night, including a nice bunt single down the third base line.
Left side of the infield always ready, especially with the left-hander. And a guy that throws changeups like Vargas, right-hand hitters are out in front, and they're going to roll it over to him a majority of the time if they're trying to pull.
Again, the fastball, and Plouffe would like to have that pitch back. He kind of grimaced right after he fouled that pitch back. So advantage Vargas at 1-2. Look at that. Standing on top of a fire hydrant.
He's proud of that fire hydrant.
King of the water. Back up the middle. Colon has it. Touches second. Goes to first. Nice inning-ending double play.
Just like that, all night.
Be in trouble.
Well, Tommy Malone will go in the second inning of work. Kendrys Morales, Alex Gordon, and Salvador Perez. Morales has really shown us great professionalism every single at bat, whether it's first pitch or 2 strikes on him, like last night when he lined that double down the left field line to break the 1-1 tie.
This is the same Kendrys Morales that we got to call back in the Angel days. when we were working there and he was hitting there, and he was 5th in the league in MVP voting. He had a solid season. He's back. His timing's good from both sides of the plate. He looks dangerous. He feels confident. Had a full spring training, and it's made a big difference for him.
2009 is the year you're talking about. Hit over 300, over 30 home runs, over 100 driven in. And he smacks that one foul down the left field line. And Rex, our fans may not know of his background growing up in Cuba. His dad was a very good baseball player, and Kendris was the youngest player on the Cuban national team. At the age of 19, they never had a teenager hit cleanup. Well, he went to a Cuban national tournament. Ground ball third. Trevor Plouffe throws him out. And he was accused of hiring an agent so he could sign with a major league team, and he said he never did that. Well, they threw him in jail, and well, then he's off the team. So now he has to get out to help his family. 9 times he tried to get out. 8 times he was caught, placed in jail. His mom would go down with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and give it to him while he spent a couple of weeks in jail. And finally, it took him 3 days on a boat to get across and find freedom and sign with the Angels, and now he is with the Royals. Alex Gordon, good to see him getting hot. Good breaking ball by Tommy Milone. 1 ball, 1 strike. Alex started the season 1 for 16, but 6 hits and 15 at bats since. Had a booming double last night.
And most pitchers so far are trying to jam him, pitch him in. That was the book on him last year. I watched his batting practice today, and he was staying inside the ball and really working on left field.
It's that one down the right field line. It goes into the corner, and it is gone. The wind died down just in time.
When you work on hitting the ball to the opposite field, and you know that pitcher is trying to come inside, sometimes you react quicker, and that's exactly what he did. It was an off-speed pitch. See him on the side of the ball, his little breaking ball, but he's out in front. And you could see how off balance he was, but he was able to keep his hands back and just really sat on that pitch. He hooked the pole.
Trevor Plouffe will have a chance to get Salvador Perez, and he throws him out. Good to see Alex hit his first home run. He led the team in home runs last year with 19. But you just kept on feeling like the wind would blow that out. But then at the moment we looked up and the flags were pretty still.
Well, you know, when you're off balance like that, it doesn't look like you got a lot of wood on that ball, but when you catch the ball perfectly underneath it, it goes. Well struck.
Here is Paulo Orlando, and we've got time to visit with Joel.
Guys, Paulo is our T-Mobile game changer, and we all know now he is Mr. Triple, and he hit number 5 last night. That is tied for the major league lead by any team. Not just one guy, by any team. I guess he's tied with the Royals for 5. First player in history with 5 in his first 7 games, and starting to catch on now with his teammates, some of whom are wondering, you know, when are you going to hit a double? When are you going to hit a homer? He's got a friend of his in New York that's Brazilian that says he doesn't understand it. Why can't you just hit home runs? As for the nickname, I know Ryan the other night came up with Paulo Triple-O Orlando. Christian Colon said in the minors they used to call him Triples. Orlando said they used to call him O. But I think right now, Christian's saying, you know what, Triple-O sounds pretty good.
Sends one to right center field, and coming on quickly is Shane Robinson for the catch. Well, Paulo didn't get that triple this time, but we did get a 4-base hit from Alex Gordon, and it's the Royals 1-0 lead early.
Welcome back.
just one base runner. That was a walk to Kenny Vargas, and now he'll work hitters 7, 8, 9 in the third. Alex Gordon, with his first home run of 2015, has given Kansas City the lead. And there is Arcia to shallow center. Lorenzo Cain got a good break and makes a fine running catch. Our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard shows you that Jason Vargas throws a changeup the third most often last year. Alex Cobb of the Rays, Felix Hernandez, the great pitcher for Seattle, at 32%, and then Vargy at 30%.
Yeah, 2 right-handers there on the left and 2 lefties on the right. So interesting. I'm going to say left-handed pitchers throw the changeup more because there's more right-handed batters than there are lefties, left-handed batters, and that's the pitch that you get the little pop-ups and little ground outs.
Here is Kurt Suzuki, who went 0 for 3 last night and then also got knocked around in the on-deck circle by his own teammate Arcia, who lined a shot off of his ankle. But Suzuki, as tough as he is, stayed in the game. You know, Vargas has always known how to pitch. He's the son of a high school baseball coach. His dad, Joe, is the head baseball coach at Victor Valley High School, and that's where Jason's number 14 is retired. But he always loved to pitch. Never a thrower, always a pitcher.
You can tell he has conviction with each pitch and the same arm slot for all 3 pitches. Got to use that fastball more than the other ones because it makes the other ones effective. If you just threw the changeup and curveball, hitters would sit on that, but you can't. Nice pitch again.
Another back-to-back changeup, and Suzuki way out in front. And Jeff Montgomery, you're down near the Twins dugout. This has to impress you.
Well, it's great to see Vargy really getting into his game. It's important for him to be able to expand that strike zone. He establishes a fastball, then finishes down and away out of the strike zone off the plate with that changeup.
Oh, you're down in the by the Royals dugout tonight because a couple of left-handers are going.
That's right, Fizz. We're going left, right, left, right.
Monty, a switch broadcaster.
Have to be versatile in this game, right?
And you know, Monty, I was looking at Vargas throwing the fastball, and that's one thing that Rex Hudler was talking about as we see the pop-up. Once again, I begin a question to Jeff Montgomery with 2 outs. The question involves both pitchers, Monty, so I'll give it to you right after this. Laura has been a volunteer for Wayside Waifs for over 10 years, spending countless hours and energy with the shelter's long-term dogs. Laura works with them, writes their bios, and creates videos to help get the dogs who are older, larger, and have special restrictions a forever home. And recently, Laura and her husband moved back to Iowa, but she has continued to do volunteer work remotely, helping tell the dog stories. And that is a great cause. And that Wayside Waifs is the sponsor of the Bark at the Park this evening. There is Christian Colon to lead things off. And there is a strike. Colon only 13 at bats this year with a couple of hits. And he takes it low.
Talking with Colon before the game, he's well aware of the changeup that Malone has, and he says, I'm going to do my best to try to not pull it. I'm going to try to stay in the center part of the field. But you know, just because you know everything about the pitcher, what he's got, doesn't give you any more success, because it's just a mix and match game, and it's not easy.
Yeah, you told me countless times the best changeup that you saw was from John Tudor, the old St. Louis Cardinals
John
pitcher.
Tudor was unbelievable. He could throw it every time. You couldn't hit it, even when you knew it was coming.
Well, there's the strikeout, and Jeff Montgomery is with us. And Monty, I wanted to ask you, because you think of Jason Vargas and you always think first about that changeup, but last year he threw the fastball 57% of the time, and Tom Malone only threw it 48% of the time. And what does that tell you?
Well, I think this is a game of adjustments, and anytime you're a pitcher, you have to make those adjustments. Sometimes it's going to really predicate how you're going to decide how to attack a hitter, what the counts are. Sometimes you're going to, as a lefty, see a lot of righties, so you may have to go away from your normal game.
Yeah, I was looking at his breakdown. 48% fastball, 15% cutter, 24% changeup last year, and 12% curve. So it's a tough guy to sit on one pitch, Hud.
Yeah, that's why you zone him. That's what Colon was trying to do, but Malone messed him up there for his first strikeout. Escobar was swinging early in the count. Last time up, flew out to Torrey Hunter and right. So now he's seeing a few pitches.
There's a flare to right field, and just beyond Brian Dozier. Escobar has his second base hit after coming back from missing Saturday and Sunday.
He borrowed his teammates' low cane triangle out there, dumped it right in it. Look at that. Kind of got in on him, on his hands. The ball was inside the label, but he was able to just fist it out over there.
Now Mike Moustakas, who had a double down the left field line to break an 0 for 12 last night, and followed up with a single to left this evening. That gets away, and that will move Escobar into scoring position and pretty much eliminate the traditional double play.
Yep, Malone didn't want to do that. His second wild pitch on the season. Way away from Suzuki. I mean, you know, Suzuki may have been crossed up, because that's a pitch usually a catcher can glove. The hitter's not on that side.
Two wild pitches scored runs for the Royals last night. A strike.
You guys, that may have been a nice break for the Royals, because if you remember, Tommy Malone has a great move to first base, hard to run on last week. Lorenzo Cain has to do the delayed steal in order to steal base and manufacture a run.
Moustakas left side. Arcia is there, and Escobar back to second.
Arcia was playing Moose way over towards the foul line. He had a long way to go, and he took a funky route to the ball too. He's mainly a right fielder, so he's having trouble with the angles there. I mean, look, he's not even in the frame there. When that ball hit, now look at him. He heads back because he thought he did, and then he comes back in, but made the play.
Lorenzo Cain is all about leading the league in our Toyota League Leaders show. He's first in on-base percentage at 49. His batting average is third best in the American League at 413. Iglesias of Detroit hitting 439, and Adam Jones of Baltimore hitting 438. And then the Royals' Cain. Malone starts him soft away. Lorenzo tied with his teammate Salvador Perez for third in the American League with RBIs with 12. Two balls and no strikes. We're seeing more and more fans wearing that number 6. I saw a sign last night that said "Insane for Cain." All of Kaufman is in Cain's range.
Yeah, got him a good hit and count. Got a nice sign there, fans. Lorenzo appreciates it. But this situation here, Royals have been thriving. They're hitting .304 with 2 outs. That's second in the American League.
I remember during the playoffs when he was making great catch after great catch, robbing so many opponents of doubles or triples. They said on the air that 2/3 of the earth is covered by water. The other third is covered by Lorenzo Cain.
And isn't that the truth?
In there, 3-1.
Don't feel like you have to drive him in. Take the walk if he's not going to give you one. But after that fastball, highly unlikely he'd come back with another one.
He uses both sides of the plate so well, and then teases you with the off-speed pitches. Out of play.
Okay, he did. He came right back with one, but he left it up a little bit.
Another good crowd on hand here at Kauffman Stadium. The Royals at 10-3, a game behind Detroit. Right now, the Tigers are hosting the Yankees. Walked him. So Malone did not give in. He came down and in with a fastball, and the Royals have 2 on with 2 out for Eric Hosmer. He gave up a home run to a lefty in Alex Gordon, and Tommy Malone has given up a lot of home runs in his career. 69 home runs in just 89 career games. So the Royals could bust him.
And really no surprise that Alex Gordon was able to go deep against him. A lot of times lefties like him who have that good changeup, you take that good changeup away when you're batting left-handed. Maybe see the breaking ball more, but not that changeup.
And Hosmer almost took him off the left field wall last time up. Arcia had to go right up against the sign and make the catch.
Hosmer 6 for 19 with runners in scoring position. It's been pretty clutch so far this year. You know, and before that home run by Alex Gordon, Malone had only given up 2 hits all year to left-handed batters. They were both singles. So he'd been having some success against the lefties.
And in his career, he actually had a higher batting average against versus left-handers, 269, right-handers 268. But usually only the best lefties stay in the game when Malone pitches. 3-0 to Hosmer. Do you green light him?
Yes.
Well, he likes them right down the middle. When you're hitting 750.
Yeah, you don't miss those. Those are the cookies. If he throws him one right there in that spot, go ahead.
He walked him. So 3 walks for Hosmer in 2 games against Minnesota.
That is outstanding. Gives Hosmer a team lead 7 walks.
And out comes the Minnesota pitching coach,
Neil Allen. Heck yeah, first year there. Molly found him.
Yeah, he was with the New York Mets, a fine pitcher many years ago. Good hard fastball from Neil Allen. And for years it was Rick Anderson who was with Ron Gardenhire. Well, Kendrys Morales coming up with the bases loaded in his career, 380 average, 2 grand slams. Remember, Rex, 2010, he hit a grand slam to win a ball game, walk-off fashion, celebrated at home plate. When he leaped in the air, he came down awkwardly, broke his leg so severely he would miss almost 2 years. He now just walks home after a home run.
Well, would like to see a slam, there's no doubt, but not the celebration.
Exactly. He hits it to right field, backing up Hunter. That will do it for the Royals. They leave 3.
Suspension news from the day. Big Papi David Ortiz suspended 1 game by Major League Baseball for bumping into umpire John Tompane. He will appeal that suspension. And so as of right now, Big Papi playing, but will appeal that suspension. And speaking of suspensions, had a chance, guys, today to talk to Torrey Hunter. We know he can so often be the voice of reason, been in this game a long time, and he said, look, hey, I got no problem with what the Royals did as far as any of that retaliation and standing up for your teammates. But in Kelvin Herrera's case, he said, if you hit him in the ribs or the side, you're going to be known around baseball as the guy that stands up for your team. But when you get up high like that and throw behind someone, even if it wasn't right by his head, okay, no issue with Ventura, but even if it's close to the head, one little miss can be very, very dangerous. He said that's when you could start getting labeled as a headhunter. He said, I've met Kelvin, seems like a really nice guy, but he would have liked to have seen that a little bit lower and maybe a rib shot, as Hud would say.
And Joel, how about Yordano Ventura? Received an undisclosed fine for throwing at Brett Lawrie in the top of the 4th inning of Saturday's games, but not suspended.
And I think the sense that I got, and you guys could tell me if you heard the same from people throughout the Royals organization, is they were potentially bracing for even a little bit more. I think they felt like this was fair.
Well, good to have that guy go out there every fifth day. Yordano Ventura, as talented as he has been. And Joel, I know you also visited with Edinson Volquez in your pregame show, and you were talking about Ventura, and Volquez can be almost like a big brother to him. Base hit right field.
You know, Fizz, he really even told me that back at spring training, saying, look, I used to be Yordano Ventura. I was that young kid coming up from the Dominican Republic, and I want to be that mentor. He's the guy that's playing catch with them every single day. And he said, look, I just told him after the other day, this team needs you to pitch deep into the games. The bullpen needs that. They need you to be out there. And he said the message was very well received. They've got a really good relationship. They're always talking. They're always joking around. Kind of a big brother, little brother. Very good influence on Yordano.
Got to have guys like that. James Shields, he led, but he's gone. Volquez hopefully will eat up the 200 innings that James did, and also lead in his own way.
Last year, over 192 for the Pittsburgh Pirates in the 13-win season. Ground ball that will find right field. So the first two batters are on, and Santana stopping at second base.
Third base coach for the Twins, Gene Glenn, was waving Santana onto third base there, but Santana looked a little bit hesitant, almost a little nervous to go to third base. You got to pick up that third base coach before then, and you see him waving, you go. Two base hits to right field now off Vargas. See Santana, he's running, he's watching the ball too much. He missed his third base coach.
As our fans know, every Thursday is Gordo Nation. For only $30, you get a limited edition Charlie Hustle brand t-shirt with a seat near Alex in left field. Plus, the first 100 Gordo Nation ticket holders receive an Alex Gordon big head. Gordo Nation returns Thursday, April 30th. Just go to Royals.com/special events.
Did you just say Alex had a big head?
They have those, you know, those big heads that they hold up in the stands.
Oh,
no, because
okay.
Alex is as humble as it gets.
That's what I was going to say.
He's a Nebraska Cornhusker.
You're right, Fizz, but you know, I just. You know,
Fred Hutchison Award winner.
I've seen
thinks
those,
of others.
I've seen
before
those
himself.
Big heads around the ballpark.
Yeah. Saw a lot in the playoffs. Well, here's a difficult guy to defend, Joe Mauer, Rex.
He's been pulling the ball a lot lately. I know they want him to do that more. And breaking balls away, maybe he'll try to pull, and Vargas could put him in the lane. A lane ball. He's already rolled up one. Oh.
He fires that one by Alcides Escobar. Santana coming home. The throw by Kane goes to second, and getting back just in time is Torrey Hunter. So it ties the game at 1 on 3 straight opposite field hits. First two by Santana and Hunter to right, and now Joe Mauer to left.
Fastball inside. Inside out stroke. Escobar couldn't quite get to it. Right idea. Lorenzo Cain faked like he was going to throw home and almost got Hunter.
It looks like after he went through the order once without giving up a base hit, that Minnesota's offense has made the adjustments. Dozier grounded out to short. That's what Vargas would love here.
Remember, make sure you don't make any mistakes up in the zone with Dozier. His top hand is really dangerous this year. He's really coming down through that ball that's around the letters.
Barely missed a home run last night on a shot down the line. Kansas City won last night 7-1. Volquez outstanding. 1 run in 7 innings.
So it looks like Vargas is getting back to hard in, soft away.
Torrey Hunter almost went. He was bluffing a move and then broke when Vargas delivered home, but then charged back to second.
He would have had it if he'd kept going. You can get a huge initial lead.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Vargas looked twice back at Hunter and then delivered an 81-mile-an-hour changeup. in there. Strike 3 called.
Vargas been working the inside part of the plate, but mainly a couple inches off. So hitters have been taking those pitches. And that one, a little bit too close. Yeah. You better hack or he'll make you go back. And Dozier's got to go.
Now the guy that Jason pitched extremely carefully in the second inning and walked him. But now 2 on and only 1 out. Ball 1.
That's where he wants to stay. Keep it down around the knees. Roll him up to a double play. That's what he's hoping for. This guy's got good strength.
Whack to left field, but Gordon is there. Whips a throw to second. Leonard barely gets back in time.
Man, I thought he had no chance at second base. That's why he's the best left fielder in the game. And, you know, I'm going to say American League for sure. But look at that. He's using his third base skills from his third base days, throwing off balance with something on it. Look at Torrey saying, whoa. You get a platinum glove. You're the best defensive player in the American League, period. That award they started giving out in 2011.
And if fans can get here early, they should watch the Royals batting practice when Gordon does his power shagging in the outfield, because it is mighty impressive. I mean, he'll make these great catches behind his back. He does it partially because that's his cardio workout, and the other reason he's getting a feel for the wind, the weather, the wall, etc. But he is an artist out there in left field. Monty.
Vargas may have gotten away with a pitch to Vargas there in the line out to Alex, but he did a nice job of pitching to Brian Dozier. We're going to take a look at the first 3 batters of this inning. We're going to see a common theme here is really everything's up and out over the plate. And when you're up and out of the plate, a lot of times you're doing half the job for the hitter, and the first 3 hitters made him pay for it.
Here's Trevor Plouffe to right field. Paulo Orlando right there. Mauer's single ties the game, but Alex Gordon with another fine play in left field, and Alex will be leading things off in the 4th. He went deep in the 2nd. Bread.com. By Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. and by Chrysler and the all-new Chrysler 200, America's import. Welcome back to the K. Alex Gordon batting for the second time. He was off balance last time up and still had the strength to pull the ball down the line, barely fair for his first home run of the year. He now has 122 in his career.
He was able to keep his bat head in that strike zone a long time. That's the key whenever you're off balance. And you're going to get a good piece of that ball. And you do that by trying to keep the hands back. Sometimes the weight goes forward.
He's now just one home run away from matching Carlos Beltran for 9th in team history. Carlos with 123. And there's a line drive, but right where Dozier had him played in shallow right field. Friday, May 1st is something special. Second annual Zubaz Palooza Day. It's powder blue Royals themed Zubaz pants and a game ticket. Packages start at just $25. Purchase today while supplies last at royals.com/special events. Salvador Perez grounded out to third his first time up. Had 2 hits last night, including a sacrifice fly. One ball, one strike. Popped up. That will get back and out of play.
Salvador Perez, he is extremely happy to be a big league baseball player. But when you have a trophy like that, I mean, look at him. He's quick to credit his teammates, his pitchers. He kept telling me about how much he loves his teammates. But he is some kind of special defender.
Maurer will take it himself, and there are 2 out now in the 4th inning. And Rex, I thought he showed a great deal of leadership over the weekend. He was one of the peacemakers in the fracas between the Athletics and the Royals, where he was grabbing Yordano Ventura and pushing him back towards the mound and trying to settle things down. He did show a little fire when his teammate Alcides Escobar was blown up at second base by Brett Lawrie.
He's a leader. There's no doubt.
The pitchers love throwing to him.
Yeah, it's just fun talking about it. Have a player like him, the organization, it's got to be extremely proud.
Paulo Orlando popped up to center field to end the 2nd inning. Alone right now has thrown 57 pitches, not yet through 4.
But Salvi went back to the dugout, and him and Christian Colon were collaborating. They were talking. That's what hitters do. They share information.
Paulo Orlando to left center field. Shane Robinson says he has it. He does, and it's a quick and easy 1-2-3 inning for Tom Malone in the 4th. Well, how about Rival Sports Bar? They're located just beyond the fountains in right field. You should really check out the 360-degree bar and full menu. Watch the game in style. And it opens an hour and a half prior to every single game. You can go online and check out ticket opportunities at 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. Oswaldo Arcia is the batter. A 1-1 game. Vargas gave up his run in the fourth after Gordon went deep in the second.
Hey, look at that Arcia shift. I mean, there's not just three guys over there, but Escobar is almost on that side. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 guys covering that entire area in case there's a ground ball. They're going to suck it up.
And Rex, you wonder how it gets into a young batter's mind. He's only 23. Mike Moustakas said after hitting over 400 in spring training last year, everybody shifted, and it got into his head where, my gosh, it looked like there's 100 infielders on the right side of the field.
Arcia, he's young too, but you know what? He pretty much tries to turn and burn a lot like Moose did. Moose is coming out of that trying to pull everything mode. Arcia, he's still in that.
Hits it to left field. Gordon is there, and there's one out. And the first manager to go with that shift was Joe Madden, then with the Rays, now with the Chicago Cubs. And he said he did it for both of those reasons, because the chart showed that the guy hit the majority of ground balls to a certain side of the field. But he said, I also did it to get into the hitter's mind, to get him thinking about something else rather than focus on the ball coming out of the pitcher's hand.
Be distracting.
Here's Kurt Suzuki. Vargas dominated Minnesota last year, a 3-0 record with an 0.96 earned run average.
That's firm. 90 miles an hour is a firm fastball for Vargas, and he can be extremely effective with that pitch as long as it's located properly, and that makes those secondary pitches look even better. I'm telling you.
He's staying in hard on Suzuki, but barely misses. 2-1. Struck out Suzuki on back-to-back beautiful changeups that faded low and away. And that one's down the line and past Moose at third base. Gordon gets to it in a hurry and holds Suzuki to 1.
Tough play for Moose. Hard shot down the line, kind of an in-betweener. Suzuki was able to get on top of it, and that ball had some topspin on it. Can't field them all, Moose. I know you want to. But Alex Gordon was ready for that. Suzuki knew he had no chance. He's played against Gordon before.
Now Shane Robinson, who has 6 hits in his last 10 at bats, popped up to the catcher foul territory. Salvador Perez to end the third.
I asked Shane Robinson before the game how he's getting used to his new team. And he said, you know, it's a lot different than playing for the Cardinals. But I'm getting used to my new surroundings, my new teammates, my new manager. And there's an adjustment period. But the one way that you get on your manager's good side is continue to hit like he's been doing. He's raking, almost hitting 370.
Popped him up again. Right center field. It's Kane to take over, 2 out. Danny Santana started the trouble for Jason Vargas in that 4th inning by leading off and taking an outside fastball to right field. He had 7 home runs last year, has not hit one this year. Last year with Minnesota, he played center field, but he came up in their organization as a shortstop. And they have a well-stocked minor league system led by one of the top prospects in all of baseball, Byron Buxton. Miguel Sano, one of the top young third baseman as well, missed all of last year with Tommy John surgery. Ground ball short. Heskey has it, gets it to Christian Colon. That's the final out of the 5th for the Twins. Vargas, solid through 5, has allowed just 1. Ford for great deals on all new Ford cars and trucks. Visit thoroughbredford.com. 1-1, bottom of the 5th inning here at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. Steve Physiok, Rex Hudler, Joel Goldberg, and Jeff Montgomery. Well, Rex, you were talking about Christian Colon in a discussion with a teammate, possibly about making adjustments and how to attack Tom Malone this time.
That's right. Can't miss. He missed his only pitch he got in that last at bat that he struck out. It was a fastball. And he took it. You got to be ready. You can't miss that one. But Colon has a pretty good game plan. Sharing it with me before the game, says I know he's going to try to come inside with his fastball. He says I might be looking maybe for some soft stuff out there, but see if he has any fortune this time up. It's all about putting him in a zone, put him in a certain place, really, no matter what pitch it is. If it gets in that zone, you're ready for it. You don't miss it.
Fastball in there. So Colon with a 2-2 count. Whacks that one foul as he took a little something off. Hope everybody's all right because it was coming in hot.
This guy's down there thinking they didn't have to bring their glove tonight. They had that nice dugout suite protected by a fence.
There he goes.
Hey, he got something soft. With 2 strikes, he was protecting inside, fouling some pitches off, and then he waited for that little breaking ball there, and he got it. There you go. Worked out. Side of the ball. He's going to flip it up there. He recognized it. Stayed with it. Little toe tapper. Getting his weight back. Waited on it. See how he was out in front? His body was out front, but his hands were back. Similar to Alex Gordon's swing. It's the first time Royals have had a leadoff man on this whole game.
Malone controls the run game pretty well. As Alcides Escobar is up, you wonder if the Royals may hit and run. Esky makes contact. Malone not necessarily a strikeout pitcher.
Not a bad idea.
Escobar bunts. Malone with a nice play at first base, but he does move Colon into scoring position.
Pushing that ball, if you're looking for a base hit, you got to make the first baseman field it. Got to hit a little bit harder. Had he done that, he would have beat Dozier to the bag. You can see Dozier coming over the second baseman, but he veered off once he saw that Malone got it. Anyway, nonetheless, gave himself up.
With Colon at second base, it's time to vote for the Royals Player of the Month at rallyhouse.com, and you will be entered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House. Mike Moustakas has been one of the real leaders this year, hitting over 300. He singled his first time up, flied out to left his last at bat. 8 for 19 now against Minnesota this year. And he cracks one high and deep. Hunter is back at the fence. It's gone.
Who says he can't pull one? Moose with his third Moose bomb of the year.
And the Royals, who had hit only one home run in their last 6 games, have 2 tonight.
Yep, Malone tried to sneak a piece of cheese on the inside part. Couldn't sneak it by Moose. He's a little hungry. Got up underneath it. Slight breeze helped push it out some.
And there's that passion in that dugout. Kane will send a grounder Dozier's way. Lorenzo is out. And I'm sure what every single opponent says anytime the Royals take a lead like this in the middle innings, they say, well, we also have to think about that Kansas City bullpen.
No doubt about it. But the Royals hitters are saying, look, we need to take care of Malone. Let's get some more runs for him. Great swing. He's locked in. Nice to see him happy.
Eric Hosmer walked his last time up. That loaded the bases for Kendry Morales, and he went after the first pitch and flied out to right. Outside, 1-1. The Royals leading the league in batting and runs scored coming into tonight's game. .310 average, 75 home runs, 75 runs scored, I beg your pardon, and 78 now with 3 tonight. And the Yankees, meantime, leading Detroit 4-0 in the 7th inning. So obviously, Eovaldi is pitching very well for the Yankees. Lobstein has given up 4 in that game for the Tigers, and that was Lobstein's first start in 9 days.
It's got to be a little disheartening for the Tigers, as great a start as they've had, to look back and go, wow, we're not separating those guys from Kansas City. Another great AB or plate appearance. It's not an at-bat because it doesn't count. and you get a walk and a knock in every game or come close to it, you're going to be a 300 hitter.
Remember when George Brett joined the club as the co-batting instructor along with Pedro Grifol, and he was telling the guys, take the walk. I mean, if you get a walk every game, that means you're 1 for 3 rather than 1 for 4, and that's a difference in 250 and 333.
Coming from him means a lot.
Let's see if Morales takes the first pitch. He swung at the first pitch he saw from Malone and flied out to right with the bases full.
And that was after the 2 previous guys ahead of him walked.
Hosmer goes, pitch taken by Suzuki, but he dropped it at his feet, and Hosmer has his second stolen base.
Great takeaway. Great takeoff. He had a perfect jump. Look at him. He doesn't look like he's going anywhere, does he? He's deking Malone. He's deking him. He's tricking him.
And Malone is not as quick home as last night's starting pitcher for Minnesota, Kyle Gibson.
He was. He picked a breaking ball.
To center field, but right at the center fielder, Shane Robinson, who will make the catch, but a single, a sacrifice, and a 2-run home run by Mike Moustakas, his 3rd of the year. And they're having fun in that KC dugout. Couple of home runs by the Royals, and of course Jason Vargas. It's a 3-1 score. Kansas City has the lead, and Vargas back on the hill for the 6th inning. In his last start, shortest outing since 2011. Obviously this is a guy who's calm, cool, collected. He made the adjustments.
Dave Island's been waiting for the doctor to make a house call. He's got that scalpel out tonight.
And Moustakas will throw out Torrey Hunter.
You know what it is though, Fizz, is that he's a little bit embarrassed about that last outing. Okay, first shortest outing since 2011. You know, he's a veteran guy and he knows exactly what he can do. So I'm not surprised, and neither is anybody else in that Royals dugout, that he's going about his job. Good fastballs inside. We talked about that before the game. Hard in, soft away. He's been doing it.
Is it all about where he's commanding it? Because he was leaving a lot of fastballs and changeups over the outside corner and inside corner in Minnesota.
It's all about location.
Much sharper on those corners. Matter of fact, talking to Jason last year, I was really interested in how he was able to come inside on right-handed batters, and I said, do you throw a cut fastball? And he said, no, I couldn't command it that well, but my four-seamer moves in, so that's what I stay with, the four-seam fastball, because I can locate it better. There's a shot to right field, and Joe Mauer has his second hit of the game. This time it will be a double.
Breaking ball down in the inner half. We've talked about the adjustments that Mauer has made this season, and one of them is concentrating on pulling those inside pitches. Helped that was a breaking ball. That kind of sped his bat up a little.
So Dozier's been tied up by Vargas, 0 for 2, and he was angry with the umpire Chris Guccione his last at bat because he struck out looking on what he thought was a pitch either low or in, but when we showed the replay, it looked like it was right there for strike 3.
Runners on base. Anything with 2 strikes too close to take, you got to be hacking. He knows that, but Vargas has done such a great job tonight of showing that fastball 3 inches, 2 inches in to righties early in the game that were not strikes. So when he got that borderline pitch, he figured it'd be a ball, and Vargas got it.
In there.
Talking about the Vargas fastball tonight, I think he has much better location, but also tonight seems like he's got a more explosive fastball. You don't often say that about Jason Vargas because he doesn't light up the radar gun, but he just seems to have better life on his fastball tonight than what we saw last week in Minnesota.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I could tell, you know, that 90-mile-an-hour fastball he threw earlier, that was big time. I mean, that had a lot of zip on it. It looked more like 93 to 94.
And his arm speed is identical with the changeup to his fastball, that when it puts the brake on at the end and is 81 or 82 miles an hour, well located, they have had no chance against it. But this is a guy with power. You must keep it down. Right center field, Kane off to the races, won't reach this one. Mauer got a late break, and they're going to have to hold Joe at third base after Dozier's double.
That's because of the ability of Lorenzo Cain. A lot of base runners are going to take off automatically whenever that ball was hit. You could tell it was going to be in the gap, but you never know with his type of speed and the jumps he gets in center. Look at him, he's playing over to left field. Now Mauer, he's going, well, I don't know what to do. Lorenzo Cain, he's going to make that play, so he hesitated long enough because he knew who was out there, and he couldn't score.
Hud, why didn't he go halfway? If the catch made, there's 2 out.
Yep, he had a bad read. That's what it was, basically. Because he went back to the bag initially thinking that Lorenzo Cain was going to catch it. That's what his Lorenzo Cain's reputation does.
And now Kenny Vargas, their designated hitter. He did a marvelous job after the break last year. He was called up after the All-Star break and had 38 RBIs, more than any other rookie. At 6'5", 290, he could play the offensive line for the team next door, the Chiefs.
It's a big at-bat here for Vargas. Both Vargases. I mean, this is a turning point in the game.
To third, Moustakas is coming home, and Mauer got caught up in a rundown. Mike gives it up to Salvi, and they tag Joe Mauer out.
Vargas, Jason, got the ground ball he wanted. 3 throws, they got him. Kenny's Vargas didn't have a chance to get to second base. Mauer tried to stay in the rundown long enough to move him. Wasn't going to happen.
Now a tough out in Trevor Plouffe. Ground ball. Moose has it glance off his glove. That will score a run. Escobar flags the ball down in left field, and if Mike comes up with it, well, that would have been the end of the inning, because Plouffe doesn't run that well, but ball just did glance off his glove. 3-2.
And it looked like on contact, Moose had a beat on that ball, and he might have just couldn't quite get his glove down in time.
David Island out for a visit with Vargas. His pitch efficiency has been good all night long. Now he'll face the left-handed batting Arcia with runners on first and second. Jason Frazier begins to warm up for Kansas City. Once again, Kelvin Herrera, who's been suspended by Major League Baseball for 5 games. Kelvin is appealing that, so he is available tonight. And I really like what Ned Yost, the Royals manager, said before the game. He said, you know, it's my job to teach these guys how to deal with those situations we saw this weekend. And he said, we learned a lot from last weekend, but we had never gone through a situation like that in any series in his tenure. And there is a shot down the right field line that will drop and tie the game.
A couple of curveballs have hurt Vargas in this inning. The one to Mauer, and then that one there. Too bad.
And Ned Yost is coming to get Vargas here in the 6th inning. Our Chevy call to the bullpen brings on Jason Frazier. Continues woof 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 for the home team. Right now we are tied at 3. Our Honda most trusted player, that Royals bullpen, they have been scored upon in only 1 inning of their 39 innings this year. 0.69, that's the best. 6 saves, that's the best, and the whip at 0.69 is also number 1. And Jeff Montgomery, you have to be so proud of the Royals bullpen.
Well, they've done a great job, and Jason Frazier has been a big part of that. And tonight, coming in with a couple runners on base, he's inherited 6 runners, stranded 5 on the year. So he's really almost developed himself into a specialist coming in and attempting to leave these runners on base.
Well, Frazier got out of a bases loaded jam in Minnesota. And that was a game, as soon as he got out of it, bases loaded, nobody out, and no one scored. You thought, well, the Royals are going to win this game because of that 5th inning. First pitch he throws to Kurt Suzuki is up high, ball 1.
Frazier has a fastball, high 80s, low 90s, and a really good effective slider.
First and third, 2 out.
He throws some occasional split fingers to left-handed batters.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Monty. And it looked really good for Vargas. Everything was working for him except this late. He left a couple of breaking balls out over the plate, a couple of curves that really hurt him.
Yeah, not sure if he ran out of gas a little bit, but he did a nice job of controlling the damage, especially going back to the inning when had an opportunity to give up multiple runs, only gave up 1 in that 4th inning, so did a nice job. And then that 6th, unfortunately, got to him.
A little bit low, and the count is 2-1. Yeah, Vargas gave up half of his hits in this 6th inning. He had given up 4 going into the 6th, but then the back-to-back doubles by Maurer and Dozier, and then back-to-back singles and out later by Plouffe and Arcia have tied it. Three and 1. Suzuki has never gotten a hit off the Royals right-hander.
Well, this is the pitch right here that the hitter's looking for, something firm and a strike.
Wouldn't be surprised to see a slider from Frazier here in this situation. Such a key situation in a game. You can't give in to the hitter.
And he did throw a slider, and it was a beauty. Located down and outside corner, 3-2.
So Monty, after you threw that one perfectly, do you come right back with the same pitch?
I would, but it really opens the door to throw either your fastball away or your slider away. Now Suzuki, he's got to be in protect mode. You might even get him to chase a pitch off the plate.
He wants to knock the run in.
A base hit to right field will give the Twins the lead. Orlando's throw to third well off the mark, but a good save by Moustakas.
Sure was, because Frazier was heading towards home plate on the first base side, and there was no one to back up Moose. If that ball gets by him, Arcia scores as well. So really a fastball he went with. Suzuki shortened up his swing and didn't try to pull it. That was smart, and you can see he went to right and found the hole. Minnesota coming up with a big inning here. Moose, you see him coming out and getting that short hop before it got by him.
Even though Minnesota is only 5-8 on the season, and the Royals are 10-3, Kansas City has only lost 1 series this year, and it was to the Twins last week at Target Field. They've won every other series thus far. Here's the 8th man to bat in the inning, first and third for the Twins. Since they got that 5-2 put out of Maurer in between third and home, 3 straight hits by Plouffe, Arcia, and Suzuki. One ball, 1 strike. Not missing by much, but now a 2-1 count to Shane Robinson, who has popped up twice. Once to the catcher Salvador Perez, the other time to the center fielder Lorenzo Cain. Danny Santana waiting his turn on deck. Right now the 8th Twin to bat in the inning. 2-2.
That's the one Robinson wanted there. A great location down in the strike zone.
Another base hit to the opposite field, and Robinson now makes it 5-3 as the Twins have put together a 4-run 6th inning.
Hard to stop the bleeding. These guys are just pecking them to death here in this inning. That slider just stayed up a little bit there out over the plate. Robinson did the same thing Suzuki did. Might have been a fastball, but regardless, it was elevated.
So you can close the book on Jason Vargas. He gave up 5 runs in 5 2/3 innings. Danny Santana 1 for 3. Strike 1. So Frazier has a man down 0-2, so he's got the options here against young Santana. Coming up in the next inning, Alex Gordon, who's hit a home run tonight, then Salvador Perez, then Paulo Orlando. Plenty of time, and the Royals have 7 come from behind victories, including last night's, where they won 7-1 after being down 1-0. Matter of fact, Rex, their last 6 victories have all been come from behind wins.
You just try not to give them any more. You know that they have the ability for strong finishes, no doubt.
Santana lines it to Moustakas. And finally, the nightmarish 6th inning is over. The Twins score 4 to take the lead.
nice to see Alex get his first one of the season. Moose, man, he jumped all over that. Got some elevation. The ball was way up there.
Tom Malone trying to go 3-0 on this young season. When the season began, he was not even expected to be part of the rotation, but they lost Ricky Nolaski to injury. He's still on the disabled list. And the suspension, of course, of former Royal Irvin Santana for 80 games for PED use. The sixth inning is our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Mark Stevens from Buckner, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Mark will win $1,000. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Mark, you get 25 grand from Sonic and the Royals. I hope your dream comes through. Gordon homered and then lined out. Goes to center field. Should be an easy play for Shane Robinson. It is, and there's one out. Salvi is 0 for 2, and when he started the night, he was tied for the lead with 8 multi-hit games this year. The other man who has done that is the Texas Rangers first baseman Prince Fielder. Ball 1.
Gotta love that run support that Malone got. If you're Tommy Malone, he's going, wow, man, our offense hasn't come around very much this year, but I gotta just keep it nice and steady right now. See if he can hold this lead.
Two and one. And Malone was really not a top talent even in college, where he played at USC. He had a 4.8 ERA for the Trojans and drafted in the 10th round by Washington, then acquired by the Athletics in the Gio Gonzalez deal, and then moved to Minnesota.
What a catch. Now the fan.
He's a little bit of a poor man's Tom Glavine. Sinkers, changeups, cutters, and well located. He even had Gordon off balance on his home run. Three and two. He's walked 3 tonight, but none have scored. Right now at 85 total. Most taxing inning was the 3rd. That's when he loaded the bases, and Kendrys Morales flied out to right.
Salvi 6 for 16 off Malone. That's had some big hits off him.
Left field. Arcia comes charging in, and he gets there to make the catch for out number 2. That's 11 flyouts. Tom Malone keeping them off speed. Paulo Orlando. Mike Swanson today, our vice president in charge of media relations, and he does the notes a lot. They called him the Brazilian Blur. 5 triples in 7 games, and he's the 8th player in history with at least 5 triples through his team's first 13 games, joining the likes of Lou Gehrig, who had 6 in 1926 in the team's first 13 games. Deion Sanders, the great cornerback for the Cowboys and 49ers, and also a pretty good baseball player in his own right. Had 6 in this team's first 13 games in 1992. Charlie Grimm and Bill Bruton, Archie Vaughn, Chet Ross, Christian Guzman were the others to do it. 3-0 count to Orlando. He had that really good at bat against the A's on Sunday, Hud, getting a walk, which started a royal rally. That was in the 8th inning when Kansas City rallied from a couple of runs down to win it. And it is a walk to Paulo.
Yeah, Paulo is what you call a late bloomer.
4 walks by Tommy, and that gets the Minnesota bullpen busy.
Molly, he's going right to it.
He wants the right-hander to face Christian Colon. Another Chevy call to the bullpen. Minnesota with a 5-3 lead. Here comes Blaine Boyer, who also pitched last night. Well, happiness would also be a 2-run home run from Christian Colon as he faces Blaine Boyer. With 2 out, Orlando very good speed at first base. And there's a line drive to the gap, right center field. Orlando charges towards third. They're going to send him home. And here's the throw to the plate. Not in time. It's a 1-run game. Happiness can be a double as well.
That's right. Colon, second hit on the night, didn't even have to hit the ball to the wall to score Paulo Orlando.
This guy, he can really put him up and put him down on the bases. Fastball right down the middle. Colon, like he knew it was coming. He was ready for it. Look at right on contact. Look at this guy run. My, oh my. Jershely, good call. Had to be perfect. And I don't even think they would have got him with a perfect throw. He is bringing the mail home.
Well, here at the K, it's not the NBA, but that's Orlando Magic. And here is Escobar trying to tie it up. Well, he's been a wonderful addition.
Sure has.
Hud, you know how he feels. You had 10 years in the minor leagues.
Yeah.
He had 10 years in the minor leagues.
Now it's time to show. You basically say, all right, it's my turn now. I've waited long enough, and you get that chance. Ned has given him that chance. He won his job out of spring training. He was impressive. He had 300 last year.
The kid's ready to be a big leaguer, and he knows it. So great job for the Royals and for Paulo Orlando. Now fans getting back into the game. They know well about their team, how they can come from behind.
Big hit by Christian Colon.
Fastball, slider. He'll try to sink it. Okay, Paulo's coming home. He get a little face plant right there. Okay, ate a little bit of some Trevor dirt.
And Hud, I'm down here just outside the Royals dugout, and almost everybody that's gone by him has given him a smile, and he's given it right back, but with a little dirt on his face.
Nothing wrong with that. Trevor Vance, the outstanding groundskeeper.
Now he wants to celebrate with Christian Colon if Escobar can get him home, but it's a 5-4 ball game. And Paulo Orlando, Rex, his wife Fabricia and their daughter still in Sao Paulo. They haven't seen him yet play in a major league game, but Paulo told me his wife and daughter are coming to the States for the next homestand.
Well, you know, good for him, but one of the reasons it's taken this young man so long to get here is when he was young, he only played baseball twice a week, and that was just periodically. Certain years he did that
on weekends.
Track. Yeah, it's crazy. So look, it's taking him a little bit of time, but good for him. What an addition.
Colon's going. The pitch is taken, and Christian will take third without a throw. He got a great break on Boyer, and Suzuki knew he had no chance.
90 feet closer. Never know. On a pass ball, ball kicks around.
Boyer threw a wild pitch last night that scored a Royal run.
Going to try to get Escobar to swing out of the strike zone.
Goes to the right side. Dozier plays it and throws out Esky, but the Royals get within one on the double by Colon that scores Orlando. We head to the seventh. Now Minnesota 5, the Royals and Orlando 4.
That dirt tastes good after scoring a run.
Dealers.com and by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler, Joe Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery with you. Top of the seventh inning, Twins by 1. The Royals have 7 come from behind victories this year, and Chris Young is the new pitcher. And his first pitch to Torrey Hunter is low for ball 1. Monty, you're down near that Royals dugout, so you get a real look at 6'10" Chris Young. And can you tell us about his down angle?
Well, he's a guy that is a fly ball pitcher. You think for a tall right-hander he would have a better downhill angle. He actually kind of short arms the ball a little bit, so he doesn't take complete advantage of it. But his ball seems to really sneak up on hitters. Doesn't overpower, but he has the deception, which allows him to really get that explosive. That last 10 feet of the pitch gives him that explosive action to throw the ball by some hitters.
You remember the Royals facing Chris Young last year in Seattle, and he really confused the Royals. And Billy Butler, Eric Hosmer said it seemed like he threw an invisible. Hunter pops it up, shallow right. Right there is Cologne. 1 out. On Saturday night, he received his Comeback Player of the Year award for the job that he had done after being injured. And Jeremy Guthrie giving him that honor. Performed quite well as a member of the Seattle Mariners last year with 12 victories. And wouldn't it be nice for another Royal to get it this year? I mean, Ryan Madsen's had a good start, Hud, after 2 weeks.
Yeah, you know, that award's voted on by his peers, and so, you know, that's a special award. Congratulations, I'm telling you.
And guys, that was what he was most proud of. In fact, he said he wouldn't care if they just didn't even make a presentation, just put the trophy in his locker. But the fact that it was voted on by the players, that was very special to him. And we got a couple candidates here, I think, maybe for comeback player. How about Kendrys Morales?
Yeah. Kendrys was with the Twins and the Mariners last year and had a subpar season. He signed late on June 8th, and it really cost him. But he has had a very good beginning his first 2 weeks of his 2015 season with Kansas City. Mauer is singled and doubled tonight. One ball, 2 strikes. Joe with a keen eye. He usually has as many walks as strikeouts. Two and two. Joe turned 32 on Saturday. Tremendous athlete growing up in St. Paul, just across the river, Minneapolis. Grew up a Twins fan, an All-American in baseball and also in football. Great quarterback. Grounder to second, fielded by Cologne. 2 outs. And Royals fans, you can go to StubHub to get great seats. I mean, every ticket every day. Plus, with the StubHub app, you can buy and sell Royals tickets anytime, anywhere, right from your smartphone. So get the StubHub app today, and all you have to do is go online. Brian Dozier, he was a big part of that 4-run 6th inning for Minnesota that gave them the 5-3 lead. The Royals scored a run in the bottom of the 6th to make it a 1-run contest, and now Dozier pops it up, backing out of play for an 0-2 count. Well, now that we've got to the bullpens, the Royals seem to have the edge there, so it might be up to the offense, because Minnesota's bullpen ERA is 4.3. The Royals is 0.69 and dropping.
Although Frazier gave up a couple of Vargas's runs, that doesn't count on the bullpen ERA. Dozier's 2 for 8 in his career off of Young, a double and a homer. So nothing too good here, heading to count.
Round out, a strikeout, and then the double. And the Royals had Dozier played to pull, and that's where Kane is right now. And he went the opposite way and dropped one in between Orlando and Kane into right center for that 2-base hit. Whacks this one. Moustakas has it. It's a 1-2-3-7 for Young, and Moose will lead things off in the bottom of the 7th. He went deep earlier. Can he do it again? We'll find out.
The Yankees on top of Detroit, Cleveland all over the White Sox. Boston wins 1-0, and the Mets 7-1, one of the hottest teams in baseball. Our Mazda game break takes us to Detroit, and a home run for Stephen Drew. Another guy like Kendrys Morales, who did not sign until late last year, had 7 homers this year. He already has 4 Tigers in jeopardy of losing for just the 3rd time this year.
Thank you very much, Joel. And now we'll see a left-hander who's been one of the top relievers for Minnesota, if not the best. You see his sparkling numbers, 0.87 ERA. He has not allowed a home run. And he's facing Mike Moustakas, who goes the opposite way. It's a 1-1 count.
Just set the table up. That was a nice swing. Aaron Thompson's got a fastball 86-93. He'll sink it and cut it. That means a little bit of a late movement. Curveball, changeup.
Mauer with a nice backhand stop gives it to Thompson, and Moose is the first out of the 7th inning.
When Moose isn't getting hits, he certainly has been squaring the baseball up. Hasn't had a lot of fortune. Even though he's still raking.
Now we'll see Lorenzo Cain, but even though Thompson is a lefty, you think the right-handers would have an advantage against him. He is holding right-handed hitters to a 1-for-19 season. That's an 0.53 batting average. The only hit, a single by the guy who's leading the American League in batting, Jose Iglesias.
Lorenzo will see a few changeups from Aaron Thompson. A couple of breakers.
Get Cain on, who's been the Royals' best base stealer this year with 4 stolen bases. To third, Plouffe has it. 2 outs. You can follow live Royals baseball with MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or tablet. Stay connected to the Royals all year. Just go to MLB.tv. Game of the day, in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay, reviews, radio broadcasts, and more. Just browse the app's new features, including StatCast tracking videos and bilingual access for Spanish-speaking fans. That's MLB.com @bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Hosmer has walked twice. Now walked 4 times in the last 2 games.
Starting to figure it out. No need to swing at the pitcher's pitch. I'll wait for mine.
His only home run this year came off a lefty, Jose Quintana. That time he was fooled on the breaking ball thrown by Thompson.
You know, Dale was talking before the game about not letting the pitcher dictate your at-bats. Don't let him dictate what's going to happen. You know, don't let him command you. You command him. By being selective, being patient, you sometimes can take the pitcher out of his own rhythm. Thompson wanted that one.
Did not get the call on the appeal by Laz Diaz, the third base umpire. So a favorable count for Hosmer at 3-1. Three and 2. How about that? Did not come with the fastball.
Remember, 50% of 3-2 pitches are balls.
And that was a ball. Boy, just about every single pitch, it seems like that Thompson throws when he needs to make one is a slider to a lefty. And as you said, a lot of changeups to the right hand.
He has confidence in that pitch. Last night, 4 3-2 count walks.
Third walk for Hosmer tonight. Wow. So the tying run is on for Kendrys Morales, who will turn things around and bat from the right side. And out comes Molitor. Now Kendrys, with most of his home runs in his career, obviously from the left side, because you'll face more right-handers, so you think seeing more right-handers, he'd feel more comfortable. He has 2 home runs this year, 1 from each side of the plate. We'll see the right-hander when we come back. The 7th inning, 2 out. Hosmer at first base. The right-hander is Casey Bean. This is only his 4th game of the year. He sat out 3 because of a stiff shoulder he suffered in the first week of the season against Detroit.
Paul Molitor, he knows what Morales can do from the left side. Bean, will get me over slider.
This was last week in Minnesota. That was way deep. Upper deck. In the dirt, good block by Suzuki, 1-1. That gets the tying run in scoring position.
Yep. Morales wants to see the ball up. Look at the consistency of the switch hitter.
He is due 0 for 3 tonight. He has a 5-game hit streak on the line.
Hosmer stole a second base earlier in this game. I wouldn't send him here. I'd let Morales swing.
Morales does and miss on a cut fastball that rode in on Kendris.
Picks his leg up from the left side and sets it down from the right side. He toe taps, doesn't lift it as high. Two completely different swings. He's powerful though both sides. Maybe he shortens up like we've seen him do with 2 strikes.
Base hit left field. So Hosmer will move into scoring position. Morales now with a 6-game hit streak. And that will bring up another left-handed bat in Alex Gordon.
He'll take a couple of rips, you know, and then with 2 strikes on him, he just says, I'm going to get a base hit.
Let's go to our Dodge drive of the game as we go back to the 2nd inning, and Tom Malone got Gordo off balance.
Didn't matter. When you keep your bat head in the zone that long and you stick it, you keep your hands back like that underneath, you got some backspin. Woohoo. First homer of the year. Hopefully we see at least 19 more of those.
He followed with a line out and then a long fly to center field. This is the guy who beat Minnesota in August last year on a walk-off off Glenn Perkins.
And, you know, there's it's nice to see the Hosmer, Morales, Gordon, Salvi. It'd be nice when Rios gets back, but there's some meat in that order now. So these guys are all protecting each other. Hard to pitch around, especially with the left, right, left, right. Ned has them all stacked up in there. Royals got them where they want them.
Strike 1.
Gordon 0 for 3 in his career off feet. He's due.
Lines to Joe Mauer at first base, and the threat is denied. We head to the 8th inning here at the K. Twins 5, Royals 4. Tigers try to stay red hot, and the Cubs bring up another star prospect. Full highlights from across the diamond. Plus, LeBron and the Cavs try to jump to 2-0, while Ovechkin and the Caps try to avoid a 3-1 hole. Plenty from the NBA and NHL playoffs. Stick here for a simulcast of Fox Sports Live after the game. Well, the Tigers are in the 9th, and the Yankees lead Detroit 5-1. If the Royals can come from behind in this one and win, they will be tied for first place with Detroit. But first things first, and that means Chris Young must get Vargas, Plouffe, and Arcia out here in the 8th. Vargas 0 for 2 with a walk. Ball 1. In the air, right center. Kane says he has it. He does, and there's one down. So Chris Young has gotten all 4 batters he's faced. 3 on flyouts and the other in a ground out to second.
It's what he does. Dayton Moore figured he'd be a great fit for this ballpark.
And he's one of those guys at his age now, 35, who says, I don't care what my role is, I just want to help the team win. You love those guys.
Yep. Another veteran in that clubhouse too.
And Rex, it's very difficult to go through a season with only 5 starters. Last year in July, Jason Vargas had appendicitis. Nobody saw that coming.
It's impossible. Hardly any team goes through the season with all 5 guys. Rarely happens.
And they've got good ones coming in the minor leagues. Kyle Zimmer talking with some Royals Scott Sharp today, and Scott told me that Kyle Zimmer threw 2 innings in Arizona last night, and by mid-May he'll be on a mound in a minor league game. Sean Manaea has been on a 1-month program throwing. He'll be on a mound soon as he comes back from that ab injury. Another top talent. So Young has sent the count full 3-2 to Trevor Plouffe. Now we'll get back into the seats.
Another nice crowd tonight.
Very good for a Tuesday night.
Right.
I mean, we had over 110,000 for that 3-game weekend series against the Athletics. All 3 were standing room only. And we've been over 20,000 for every home game this year. Well, they're fun to watch.
Got that right. Speed, power, pitching. It's an entertainment package. And bark at the park tonight.
Plouffe will see 9 pitches. I'm not sure who said it, but no one appreciates the very special genius of your conversation as the dog does. And Plouffe sends one down the line, and that ball is foul. Thank goodness.
Yep, dogs usually don't talk back, do they?
Nope, they just listen. They just listen and love. Chris Young strikes out Trevor Plouffe.
Said no more fastballs for you. I'm going to put a wrinkle on this one. And he did, a beauty. On side of the ball. Put a little spin on it. Seams catch the air pockets, and that's what makes it break.
Now the Royals will shift for the pull happy Oswaldo Arcia. but he was able to hit through the shift last time up, knock in a run, and then later come around and score on the base hit by Shane Robinson. And his scoring right now is the difference in the game. That was the 5th run. Oh, and 2. Boy, he takes a mighty rip.
Sure does. He's all or nothing.
So coming up for the Royals in the 8th inning, we'll first see Salvador Perez, then Paulo Orlando, then Christian Colon. Well, they got him to pop up, and he reached for that one. A long way to go for Escobar, who goes near the foul line to make the catch. He was hovering right around second base, and it's a 1-2-3-8. Bottom of the order coming up.
Come on, boys.
T-shirt. That is some kind of bulldog. Jordan Schaefer comes into play center field. He made a great throw last night to Danny Santana and then home to get Salvador Perez out at the plate. The Royals did go on to win 7-1. Casey Fiend stays in the game. He has not allowed a run this year. So the outfield has Shane Robinson now in left. Arcia is out.
Salvi gets on. They're look for Dyson. You never know, because Paulo Orlando's coming up, and you know what those two guys can do.
Yeah, it was a walk by Salvi. Then Dyson pinch ran for him, and then Orlando ripped one in the gap right center field in that Friday win over the A's. And there's a line drive base hit to right center field. So Salvi is on. Rounds first, holds there. And here comes Dyson.
2-0 count. Casey Fiend says, I'm going to make you earn it, Salvi. I hope you pop it up or ground it out. But Salvi guided it into the right center field gap for a knock. And to get things started here in the bottom of the 8th. Challenged him right down the middle. Great swing. Short, compact. I tell you, Salvador Perez has a chance to drive in 80 runs or more. if he continues to use the opposite field, because most of the time when he comes up in those positions, there's runners on second and first, and to stay away from rolling into a double play, you go to the opposite field. He's got that swing down this year so far.
Stay with it. And here is Paulo Orlando. We were just talking about that Friday game, and it came in the 8th inning. Orlando shot one to right center, and Dyson off to the races, scored easily.
And just because Dyson has the ability to steal, and everybody knows it in the ballpark, including the Twins and Casey Fiend, doesn't mean that he has to go. Could get Orlando a nice fastball to drive in the gap.
They chase him back again.
Suzuki hadn't had a lot of help this year throwing base runners out. He hadn't nabbed a runner in 6 attempts.
And Dyson, who stole a team high 36 last year, looking for number 1. They're sure he's going.
Yep, good base runners. They hold their head in a position where the pitchers look like they're looking at the pitcher, but they turn their eyes quickly and they see if they can see any fingers wiggling down between the catcher's glove and his legs, because that means a breaking ball, and it's a higher percentage to steal that bag if you catch a breaking ball.
Fouled off. Well, opponents are 9 for 10 against Bean in his career. Successful steals. And Dyson, one of the premier stolen base artists in baseball.
He's getting that ball home pretty quick, though. Fiend is. Paulo took a mighty rip that first pitch. He knew, had an idea that fastball was coming.
He does not go, and the ball misses outside. That would have been a good pitch to go on because Suzuki had to backhand it. Trying to get the bunt down. Bunt's foul, so now it's a 1-2 count.
Hard to bunt fastballs that are coming in there. That's what happens, especially if they're in. You're going to pop that ball up. I don't know. I don't really. His mind wasn't made up. He turned around, but wasn't sure he's going to try to get out of the way of that. Fortunately, it worked out.
That ball kept running in on him. Molitor has options. He could pitch out on a 1-2 count.
You know, Fiend is awfully quick home.
Dyson goes. Pitch is fouled off.
Great practice run. Nothing wrong with that. Fastball right down the middle. Paulo saying, how'd I miss that? Casey Fiend, he's 1.2 to 1.3 seconds home, and I'll tell you, that's really quick. Dyson's got to get a good jump to steal the bag with an accurate throw. Anything 1.3 and above, a guy like Dyson should be able to get in there. But see, that's how the pitcher can help the catcher in the running game, by getting the ball home quickly and continue to throw over.
The time it looked like Orlando is taking a shot at right field. The Minnesota outfield is playing him straight up. Same on the infield.
Cat and mouse game continues here. This game's really slowed down. Fiend's doing it on purpose too. Wants to slow Dyson down.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Orlando walked his last time up. That started the last Royal rally when they scored on a walk to Orlando and the double by Christian Colon. Looked like Dyson was going to break too.
Fiend's trying to keep that ball on the outer half of the plate for Suzuki, just in case he does get a swing and miss. I mean, Fiend's doing a great job with the running game here.
Back up the middle, base hit. Dyson turns second. He's off for third. How about the Brazilian blur? Man, he just comes through time and again in this month of April.
He is a clutch performer so far in his young major league career. And this is short to the ball, right back up the middle. Really good pitch on the outer half and down. Paulo didn't try to do too much. He fouled off a couple of fastballs, but he found the target there. The Royals continue to pressure with their tools that they have. Ned has a lot of tools to his advantage. One of them is Dyson. Nobody out.
Big hole on the right side where Mauer has to hold the speedy Orlando. Colon looking to bunt.
Middle infielders are playing halfway, like they're going to try to turn a double play with nobody out. They'd rather get 2 and concede the tying run. That's what Molitor is saying by positioning them there. Don't want to bunt. Swing away.
All Orlando at Omaha last year with 34 stolen bases.
Colon's been swinging a really good bat. Outside of that first time up against Malone, when he struck out, got a couple of base hits since then. He's seeing the ball well.
One again shows bunt, and Orlando takes off and steals second base without a throw.
First career major league stolen base. Congratulations, Paulo. You earned that one. Short lead too. You're not fast. You don't have to get a big lead. Now that's exactly what speed do, as Gerard Dyson would say. Suzuki was nervous about throwing the ball to second, thinking Dyson would come home on the double steal. So now they don't
playing
have
the infield back too. And Christian pops it foul.
Yeah.
Well, he knew on 2-0 he'd likely get a good pitch to swing at.
Right. He watched that tremendous at bat by
Paulo Orlando, as Colon was on deck, stays short to the ball, makes some good, solid contact center field. Think in the middle. That'll keep you away from swinging and missing or popping up trying to pull the ball. That's it. That's it.
Another fastball at 92.
Good swing.
When Colon came up last year and made his major league debut, he was not nervous at all. He looked like he'd been here for 5 or 6 years. Didn't let pressure situations bother him, and I would count on him here to at least make some contact. There you go.
He does, and ties the game. Dyson scores. Orlando to third.
That was beautiful. Again, Paul Molitor was a little bit nervous of the infielders playing in because he knew the ability of the Royals offense to put the ball in play and didn't want to give up the tying and go-ahead run. With runners at first and second and nobody out. So obviously the Royals are in the minds of Molitor and the Minnesota Twins with their speed. The game has come to a complete standstill. The hits have been coming. The Royals are ready. Escobar's up. Infield now has come in. Same focus up the middle.
He chases the first pitch, strike one. You have a lot of options with Escobar.
Sure do. Haven't seen a squeeze bunt all year long. But that certainly could be an option. Escobar, he's a swinger. He's going to put the ball in play.
And he pops it up. 2 outs. So it will be up to Mike Moustakas, and they're going to go to the bullpen. Remember, Brian Dunsing is not available. He's on the disabled list. They do have another lefty in that bullpen, Caleb Thielbar, or Glenn Perkins, the guy who's usually called on for just the 9th. Well, now they're going to ask him to come on in the 8th inning with 2 out to get Mike Moustakas. And one of the real tough lefties in the game, Glenn Perkins, coming out of the Minnesota bullpen to face Mike Moustakas. He swings at the first pitch and fouls it off, strike one. Perkins was their closer last year, usually called on just for the 9th inning. Molitor needs him for 4 outs. He has 2 saves and 2 opportunities this year. No walks, 5 strikeouts.
Fastball, slider, everything firm.
0-2.
Moose has got him some hits.
Also, Perkins with 16 career wild pitches, and Orlando has the speed to score even if it trickles away from Suzuki. Again out of play left side. Perkins comes right after you. 34 saves last year. There's a base hit to left field. Orlando scores and the Royals lead 6-5.
When Paul Molitor went to take Casey Fiend out to bring in their closer, Moose looked confident. He went back to the dugout. He picked up the donut. He got a little rosin bag, and he looked so calm and comfortable. It's because he's a confident hitter. That makes this team so much dangerous. With Moose in that second hole, fastball right down the middle. Oh, just lay it out there, Moose. That a baby.
Lorenzo Cain sends it foul.
Just get her done.
We told you last night was Kansas City's 7th come from behind victory. The last 6 Royal wins have been comebacks. 2 against the Angels, 2 against Minnesota this year, 2 against Oakland. Cain almost gets hit. He did not go as they appealed to the first base umpire. Corey Blazer said no. Cain checked his swing on a 1-1 count.
Perkins just said, here, Moose, see what you can do with this fastball right down the middle.
It gets away. Moose was thinking about going, and Mike kind of clapped his hands, angry at himself for not going. But Rex, I'll tell you, he looks like such a different hitter this year, Mike Moustakas.
He is. Swain was telling me before the game that hitting in that second position, he now has to perform like a second place hitter. Use the whole field, spray the ball around, get on base, and he's even running better.
Cain to right field. Hunter came in, now goes back and twists around. Fighting that wind, makes the catch. But what an 8th inning for the Royals. 1 to tie, 1 to take the lead, and then bring on Wade Davis.
Waiter, we need a waiter.
relief seasons in Royals history and, quite frankly, Major League history. Last year, a 1 ERA. That was it. A season for the ages, and he has become the Royals closer because of the injury suffered by Greg Holland. He stepped into that role. 2 opportunities, 2 saves.
That Yost, again, he has tools. He has parts.
Eric Kratz, of course, catching after Salvador Perez gave the Royals. Look at Salvi. Man, that's a great teammate.
Bring it home.
He got the hit that got the Royals rally started in the bottom of the 8th inning. Dyson then pinch ran. Orlando got a critical hit, and Moose, of course, with the potential game-winning hit. Still 3 outs to go. Suzuki, Robinson, Santana. 8, 9, and 1.
Here it is, fastball to Suzuki. Knew it was coming. Kratz says, wow, did you have to do that? Knocked his mask right off his head.
Well, he has officially been woken up.
Fastball, cut fastball, curveball.
And there is the breaking ball. Suzuki, a clutch hitter. He is 2 for 3 tonight, a pair of singles. One ball, 2 strikes.
Better believe he's a clutch hitter. Last season, Suzuki got the first extra base hit off of Wade Davis. I think it was in, when was it, in August? It was late in the season. It was late July. No other hitter on July 31st till then had gotten an extra base hit off Wade Davis.
And now he sends one to center field. Kane lays out on. Oh man, why not give that guy a goal right now?
So Suzuki, extremely confident against Wade Davis, tries to set the table, and again the defense won't let him do it. There's so many ways the Royals can beat you. Last year was mainly small ball pitching and defense. This year it's the same with power.
Lorenzo Cain, number 2 in the major leagues in defensive runs saved by position. He was +6 coming into the game, and Drelton Simmons, the great shortstop for the Atlanta Braves, was +7. And after that, we have Escobar coming on to pinch hit for Shane Robinson. They only have available Escobar, Nunez, and Herman off the bench. Herman has the most power, but Escobar has the most experience in this situation. Every night, Hud, it's something different.
And if you're a Kansas City Royals fan, why wouldn't you come and watch this type of baseball? This is exciting. Ooh, that almost clipped him.
And that is a good cut fastball from Wade. 2 balls and no strikes to Escobar.
You are seeing a well-rounded American League defending champion that's playing the game again, same way they did in October.
Escobar now has a 3-0 count.
He wants to get right back in that strike zone.
He does, and it's a 3-1 count. Second base, Cologne. 2 outs.
That's how you make him earn it. Fell behind 3-0. Couple of fastballs right in there. Use that defense.
Another great crowd at the K. Why not? I mean, this was a guy who struck out 109 batters in only 72 innings last year. Danny Santana is Minnesota's last chance. The young switch hitter batting from the left side. 1 for 4 today. Strike one.
Ooh. So why not start him out with a jelly leg curveball?
One ball, one strike.
Royals want the payback. The only series they've lost this year was in Minnesota. Last trip.
2-1. The Royals won game 1 in Target Field, 12-3, but then they lost the next 2. They won last night 7-1 and have come from behind to take a 6-5 lead, 2-out, 9th inning. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That was a cut fastball that looked like a slider, but it came at 92 miles an hour. Counts full.
Outfield got Santana playing to the opposite field. I think if he does get a piece of the fastball, it'll be to left center.
He struck him out, and the Royals win it.
Did we call for a waiter? Waiter, check please.
Paulo Orlando continues his incredible April, but it was Mike Moustakas who broke the tie, giving the Royals a 6-5 lead, and Davis with the save. Rex, you always talk about the little things that become big things, and Christian Colon with a single, a double, but a ground out that advanced the runner and got the tying run home.
I could tell before the game his focus was good. He was in BP talking about it. That double right there was extremely nice. Was able to bring home a run. Then he wasn't done. Says, you know what? If you sleep on me, I'll rip you off. And that's exactly what he did. Then the eighth, he comes up and gets that nice little contact RBI to tie the game. Beautiful job.
And Christian Colon is with our Joel Goldberg.
Well, Fizz, it seems like it's somebody contributing every single night, or a lot of nights, many different players. Tonight, Christian Colon included in that group. First off, what do you think about the team effort of this group? Rex just saying there are so many weapons on this team.
Outstanding. You know, we just stay together as a team.
Ooh. You saw the eyes. I waited a while. All right, anyway, so many weapons, including Salvador Perez with the Gatorade bucket.
Yeah, I know. He's always done that. He's always going to do that. You know, that's his thing. So it's fun. You know, it's fun in games.
I want to ask you about that last at bat. I mean, you had a 2-hit night. You had multiple RBIs, your first stolen base of the season, a run. But the mindset for you, as you have the 2 fastest guys on base coming up, what are you thinking there?
I'm just trying to put the ball in play and make sure, you know, we can get them running. That's what they do, and it's fun to watch. So I'm just trying to hit the ball, you know, behind them, make sure we get that tying run in there, and then move them over to third. So just put it in play.
You guys right now are tied with Detroit and the Mets for the best record in the major leagues. What's it been like playing here in front of this home crowd?
Amazing crowd. I mean, every single night, it's just, it doesn't matter how cold it gets or anything. I mean, they're sticking with us, and we love you guys for that.
Speaking of cold, I'm sure you're freezing at this point. Let you go warm up.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Christian Colon delivering that huge at bat in the 8th inning, the ground out to the right side. Big night for him. We'll talk about that. Chris Young's first win as a Royal, and much more coming up, guys, on Boulevard Royals Live.
Thank you, Joel. This is a fun team to watch, the way they entertain, the way they are happy. They play the game with such joy, and he was telling Joel Goldberg to turn his back around because he's coming with the ice bucket.